December 2025, just 6 months ago, the city of Fernie pumped 24,000 cubic meters of raw sewage straight into the Elk River. That's 24 million liters, if my math is correct, about the size of 9 to 10 Olympic swimming pools full of raw sewage straight into the river where this community swims, plays, fishes, rafting, and the testing afterward by the province of British Columbia and other sources found that the E. coli and fecal chloroform, I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. The levels were high enough to blow past provincial safety limits, not just for swimming, but downriver. It wasn't even safe for the livestock to have a drink. That's how bad this was. The levels of contamination caused stomach illness, diarrhea, vomiting. A single mouthful of river water can cause all of that, and skin and ear and eye infections if you go for a swim. For kids and the elderly, those with weak immune systems, that amount of E. coli in the right strains can do far worse, including serious kidney disease. I'm going to talk to Harshan today about first principles in leadership. Particularly when you're facing complex situations like the city of Fernie is facing, and why Harshan as a candidate for mayor is the right person to deal with this situation. And I'm also going to speak generally as a proxy for angry Fernie citizens, or maybe not angry is not the right word, but definitely frustrated at leadership, the government of Fernie, and how the citizens, the residents, are not getting what they deserve. That's our agenda for today. And I know that many of you, this is a global audience. We're about half Canada, half US, and some other number international. So you're not really interested in Fernie politics, potentially. However, these concepts in leadership and the failings in leadership, in my view, that we're going to talk about today are universal. And we talk about them often on my channel and the turnarounds and in business and any organization. So with that, Harshan, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Sure, Scott. Again, thanks for inviting me over. I'm Harshan Ramdas. I have been a city councillor for 4 years, so I'll be completing a full term this October, and I'll be standing for election in October 17th as the mayoral candidate for City of Fernie. My background is in engineering. I'm a mechanical engineering engineer by trade. I went to business school at University of British Columbia in Vancouver. I have been in the mining industry for over 16 years. Really, my day job is actually very similar to the things that Scott just mentioned here, solving complex problems, be it in terms of coordinating resources, finding solutions, and working with various stakeholders. So it is right up in my alley as far as my day job is concerned.
How shocking was it the first month when you walked into the door to council?
I think it was funny you're asking that, Scott. In fact, in 2022 elections, the first thing that the local media asked us was, what is this one thing that you're going to be working on for the next 4 years? And my answer was, I'll be working on wastewater.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Yeah. I was going through my notes this morning as I was preparing for this conversation, and lo and behold, on October 22nd, 2022, just 5 days after inauguration, Fernie Fixed asked me, what do you want to work on? And I said, wastewater treatment.
And here we are.
And here we are. And
well, that is a good segue to the story. Let's walk through the story for the audience. You're going to find this shocking, I think. I know we certainly do. I do. It's a story of environmental failure, of arguably ecological disaster that happened right here in this town. And I want you to stay with me, as I said, because the concepts behind this are universal. Not just in business, but in government everywhere. Is your local government accountable? Is it competent? Is it trusted? Does it even care? Does your government, your leadership act with benevolence towards people that it serves? Or is it self-serving? I'm not suggesting any of that is true here in Fernie. I'm just going to try and present some facts here and try to get at the bottom of some answers and so some questions that we have. You know, in the 1960s, the waste system was built. So we're talking 40, 50 years before the problem.
That's right.
I want to say hit the fan, but you asked me not to swear on your podcast.
I'm trying. Yeah.
So it's a lagoon-based system built in the 1960s. Maybe you want to, as the engineer, you can talk about that a little bit. But in general concept, the waste, the solid waste comes in through a piping system. It settles, and then the stuff that hasn't settled is treated with microbes and some other stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's basically the system.
That's
and then the treated, clean, air quotes, clean, is dumped into the Elk River, which flows south from here. And important to the story, it flows south from here into Lake Koocanusa. It's basically a headwater that flows, the lake goes right down into Montana.
That's correct.
And I assume goes somewhere else in a river system from there.
That's correct. Yeah, it's part of the Columbia River Basin, ultimately. Yeah, again, that's a great introduction, Scott. Really, what happens is very simply, when you flush the water all goes downstream. There is the catchment, what we call as a lift station. The lift station is in what we call as the airport subdivision of our town. From there, the wastewater is conveyed 8 kilometers downstream to the settling pond. And you're absolutely right, in the settling pond, what happens is the wastewater settles down. There's anaerobic and aerobic bacteria, meaning bacteria that lives on oxygen, and some ones that don't live on oxygen. They eat it up, they poop, the sludge goes down, and the water is now much cleaner. Can't really say what the percentage quality is. It's like 99.99% treated water that goes discharged just into.
And whatever it is, was the technology in the 1960s.
Absolutely. In fact, it's a remarkable technology in the sense that it is really simple. There are no high flow mechanical systems. There are mechanical structures in the upstream, but in the downstream, all it is a big, large bathtub. So it's from a simplistic standpoint, it works.
So the system was built. At the time, the town was about 2,700 people. And then for the next 40 to 50 years, 1960s to 2000s, the system works. 4 or 5 decades, keeps up. Fernie stays small. The town peaks around 5,400 people in the 1980s. It slides back a bit as coal contracts for a while there. Roughly 4,200 people by 2006. Okay, so we've gone 40, 50 years and everything's working just fine with 1960s technology.